WCNC Charlotte. This is Flashpoint, where power and politics collide and the tough questions get asked and answered.
Thanks for joining us here on Flashpoint. I'm Ben Thompson. Early voting is now underway for Charlotte city races. You might have noticed weird timing this year. Usually city races happen in odd number years, but delayed census numbers pushed back last year's city races. So the primary was held in May. The general election is happening right now. Winners will have shorter terms, serving little more than a year. Guess what that means? That means we get to do this all over again next year when voters head back to the polls in November 2023. Joining us now, current Charlotte City Councilman Tark Bakari and Larken Egleston. Gentlemen, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Glad to be back.
Y'all were called the most millennial city council in America when you guys were sworn in back in 2017. Not sure if you like that or not, but that's what you were called. Public safety, affordable housing, transit were all issues then. To your all's credit, progress has been made on some of those things, but we're still facing them all to some degree or another. Looking back at your last few years in office, are you proud? Or you wish more could have been done in the last few years? What are your thoughts? Larken, I'll start with you.
Yeah, all of the above. I'm absolutely proud of the work that we've done over almost 5 years now. And we have made progress on all the things that we all ran saying we wanted to work on. Those aren't issues you ever really solve. You just keep making progress. And I think we've done that on all the fronts that you just mentioned, but I think there's still a lot of work left to do. But absolutely, in 2 months when I depart the city council, I'll have a lot of pride in the work that this group over the last 2 terms has done and under really, really unique and challenging circumstances.
Tark?
Yeah, I'm conflicted in how to answer that because I know over the last 5 years, this council has worked extremely hard. I've worked alongside Larken. I've watched Larken work extremely hard, and I'm very sad to see him not be in this position going forward. So I know a lot of great work has been done. But I would say it's almost the tale of 2 kind of periods where the first 3 years, it was kind of, peacetime, for lack of a better word, when a lot of real good, strong work was going on. But the last 2 years is what I think that, we could have done a lot better. And that was the pandemic time. I mean, obviously every municipal government was learning through that period. But I think as I look back on that, one, our transportation system and from buses and how they operate today to where we're trying to go with it, not in a better place. We're actually in a pretty bad place there. Public safety, our officer morale is at all-time low levels. And, we're watching high-speed chases on our city streets, wondering exactly how this state happened. It begs the question, could we have done it better?
Let's drill down on some of the issues still facing council right now. First up, something that's been in the news this past week, social districts. Somehow, Raleigh is beating us to getting one. Evidently, we shouldn't expect one anytime soon here in Charlotte, at least not in the immediate future. City leaders say they're giving staff more time to research the districts before moving forward. The city says community members are concerned that a potential district could pop up near homes. But as I mentioned, Raleigh approving one this week. Hickory already has Salisbury, Mooresville. The city's saying, hold off for a second. Tark?
Well, I'll be very brief on this because Larken has done the lion's share of the work on this item, like many items that he's taken and put on his shoulders over the last 5 years. But I'll just say that, why are we so behind? Why are we so slow? It doesn't mean every single neighbor is going to have something pop up next to them, but it's an opportunity, especially post-pandemic where we are right now in this economic uncertainty of these times, where we can give small businesses another tool. So, I'll toss it to Larken, who deserves the ability to really talk on this one.
The key word you said, Ben, is that some of these cities approved one being the key word there. And what we envision is that these are going to be things that potentially could be a fit in multiple different areas of our city. 6, 8, 10 different places could be logical social districts should they choose to want to be that. And so for us, we've got to set up something different. We can't just say there's going to be one and it's going to be downtown and it's going to be 4 blocks. We've got to say, how do we set up a sort of a framework that allows each individual area that might want to apply to be a social district to do so, and do so with fair and equitable rules, but that also protect the folks who live in those communities, make sure that there's cleanup, there's a safety plan. And so we want to not just stand up one. What I hope we can do in the 2 months before I depart council is to change the ordinance language, and I still think that's possible, that will allow for Charlotte to more or less adopt the idea of social districts, and then the next council would be in charge of working with each of these individual interested areas to drill down on the details of their particular application and then approve it or deny it based on those.
We're going to pause the conversation right there and continue it on the other side of this break.